Hello, lovely people. This is your good life advocate Isaac, and you know that whatever you see me on your screen, I come with you, or I come to you with a good life, peace. And I always start that good life has nothing to do with the healthy deals and meals and cars and buildings that we drive, we sleep, and we eat. But good life is after having the meals necessary for or to regulating our temperatures and everything in terms of our health, making informed decisions that our future self won't regret when we forward engineer ourselves into that future of us. So normally the question that comes is that, do you think you are living a good life? Do you think the life you are living is a good life? Normally I get the questions, I normally get mail that, so how can I live a good life? Because it is easy to say than to do it. It starts from somewhere. You need to build it. You need to inculcate yourself with it. You need to live it as a habit. Anything that you do, that you ask yourself certain questions. Any question that you ask yourself when you conflict with yourself, that is a good question. At times, our mind, which is programmed to do whatever our id or our ego wants, normally don't want us to ask that question. So there are questions that people ask you, or even you ask yourself, and you get conflicted. That means you have a long way, or you have something to correct as far as your life is concerned. So today what I want to tell you is that I'm starting this new piece, and that is we choose a book and then we read the book together. So anytime we get an opportunity, we will read a chapter or maybe a leaf of the book, so that we deliberate on what is important and some moral values we can take and affect our life with it. So today we start with a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. It is a counterintuitive approach to living a good life, and it was written by Mark Manson. Let us start with chapter 1, which is titled Don't Try. So I read. Charles Bukowski was an alcoholic, a womanizer, a chronic gambler, a lout, a cheapskate, a deadbeat, and on his worst days, a poet. He is probably the last person on earth you would ever look to for life advice or expect to see in any sort of self-help book, which is why he is the perfect place to start. Bukowski wanted to be a writer, but for decades his work was rejected by almost every magazine, newspaper, journal, agent, and publisher he submitted to. His work was horrible, they said. Crude, disgusting, depraved. And as the stacks of rejection slips piled up, the weight of his failures pushed him deep into an alcohol-fueled depression that would follow him for most of his life. Bukowski had a day job as a letter filer at the post office. He got paid shit money and spent most of it on booze. He gambled away the rest at the racetrack. At night he would drink alone and sometimes hammer out poetry on his beat-up old typewriter. Often, he'd wake up on the floor having passed out the night before. I can see you enjoying the book already, right? Let's continue. Stay with me. 30 years went by like this. Most of it a meaningless blur of alcohol, drugs, gambling, and prostitutes. Then, when Bukowski was 50, after a lifetime of failure and self-loathing, an editor at a small independent publishing house took a strange interest in him. The editor couldn't offer Bukowski much money or promise of sales, but he had a weird affection for the drunk loser. So he decided to take a chance on him. It was the first real shot Bukowski had ever gotten, and he realized probably the only one he would ever get. Bukowski wrote back to the editor, I have one of two choices. Stay in the post office and go crazy because he didn't love the job that he did. Or stay out here and play as writer and staff. I have decided to stop. That means he went in for what he liked or wanted. Upon signing the contract, Bukowski wrote his first novel in 3 weeks. It was called simply Post Office. In the dedication, he wrote, "Dedicated to nobody." I'm loving Bukowski already. Bukowski would make it as a novelist and a poet. Listen to this part very carefully. Bukowski would make it as a novelist and a poet. He would go on and publish 6 novels and hundreds of poems, selling over 2 million copies of his books. His popularity defied everyone's expectation, particularly his own. Stories like Bukowski's are the bread and butter of our cultural narrative. Bukowski's life embodies the American dream. That is, a man fights for what he wants, never gives up, and eventually achieves his wildest dreams. It's practically a movie waiting to happen. We all look at stories like Bukowski's and say, "See, he never gave up, he never stopped trying, he always believed in himself. He persisted against all odds and made something of himself." It is then strange that on Bukowski's tombstone, the epitaph reads, "Don't try." See, despite the book sales and the fame, Bukowski was a loser. He knew it, and his success stemmed not from the determination to be a winner, but from the fact that he knew he was a loser. And he accepted it, and then wrote honestly about it. He never tried to be anything other than what he was. The genius in Bukowski's work was not in the overcoming unbelievable odds or developing himself into a shining literary light. It was the opposite. It was his simple ability to completely, unflinchingly, honest with himself, especially the worst part of himself, and to share his failings without hesitations or doubt. This is a real story of Bukowski's success, his comfort with himself as a failure. Bukowski didn't give an F about success. Even after his fame, he still showed up to poetry readings, hammered and verbally abused people in his audience. He still exposed himself in public and tried to sleep with every woman he could find. Fame and success didn't make him a better person, nor was it by becoming a better person that he became famous and successful. Self-improvement and success often occur together, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are the same thing. Are you getting it? Let me take it back. Self-improvement and success often occur together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are the same thing. Our culture today is obsessively focused on unrealistically positive expectations. Be happier, be healthier, be the best, better than the rest, be smarter, faster, richer, sexier, more popular, more productive, more envied, and more admired. Be perfect and amazing, and crap out 12-karat gold nuggets before breakfast each morning while kissing your selfie-ready spouse and 2.5 kids goodbye. Then fly your helicopter to your wonderfully fulfilling job, where you spend your days doing incredibly meaningful work that's likely to save the planet one day. But when you stop and really think about it, it is actually fixating on what you lack. But when you stop and really think about it, conventional life advice, all the positive and happy self-help stuff we hear all the time, is actually fixating on what you lack. Are you getting it? All the things we hear every day, it is reminding you of the things you lack. It is reminding you of your failures. So I don't want you to sway your attention anywhere. Just follow it very keenly. It lasers in on what you perceive your personal shortcomings and failures to already be, and then emphasizes them for you. You learn about the best ways to make money because you feel you don't have enough money already. You stand in front of the mirror and repeat affirmations saying that you are beautiful because you feel as though you are not beautiful already. You follow dating and relationship advice because you feel that you are unlovable already. You try goofy visualizations exercises about being more successful because you feel as though you aren't successful enough already. Ironically, this fixation on the positive, on what's better, what's superior, only serves to remind us over and over again of what we are not, of what we lack, of what we should have been but failed to be. After all, no truly happy person feels the need to stand in front of a mirror and recite that she's happy. She just is. There is a saying in Texas, the smallest dog barks the loudest. A confident man doesn't feel a need to prove that he's confident. A rich woman doesn't feel a need to convince anybody that she's rich. Either you are or you are not. No two ways about that. And if you are dreaming of something all the time, then you are reinforcing the same unconscious reality over and over, that you are not that. Everyone and their TV commercial wants you to believe that the key to a good life is a nicer job, or a more rugged car, or a prettier girlfriend, or a hot tub with inflatable pool for the kids. The world is constantly telling you that the path to a better life is more, buy more, own more, make more, F more, be more. You are constantly bombarded with messages to give an F about everything all the time. Give an F about a new TV. Give an F about having a better vacation than your co-workers. Give an F about buying that new lawn ornament. Give an F about having the right kind of selfie stick. Why? My guess? Because giving an F about more stuff is good for business. And while there is nothing wrong with good business, the problem is that giving too many Fs is bad for your mental health. It causes you to become overly attached to the superficial and fake, to dedicate your life to chasing a marriage of happiness and satisfaction. The key to a good life is not giving an F about more, it is giving an F about less, giving an F about only what is true and immediate and important. So initially when you heard the F word in it, you thought it was going to be a very bad book, right? You can see it is going to be an interesting novel already. Bring your thoughts out, what you think about it. Listen to it over and over again and know that good life is never caring so much about what you don't have. Reminding yourself every day of your failure. Reminding yourself that you aren't there, but rather accepting what you are and trying to make amends for it. Bukowski accepted it. And look at what turned out. At times, our failures is opening a way for us that we don't even think. But being so overly attached to this marriage of happiness by thinking I need this, I need that, I should have been at the same level as my mate and all that, brings us this. And when your mental health is at stake, trust me, it is not good for business. So until then, we will get to you again and we will continue with the next chapter. Be safe out there and know that good life is your decisions today. Thank you.